Dun dun dun! Welcome to Facebook
Live, and happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
And the weather's not so bad.
We gotta do that meme of the cheering when you're on.
The meme?
Yeah, the meme that we do when you're on the camera.
Okay.
That'll be coming up right after this. But anyway, it's a big day today. Because we're going to be talking about what is going on, what's going to happen in 2 weeks. At least what we think is going to happen.
The August non-lawsuit.
Yes, and what that means for you guys, and I think what you're going to do once...
Specifically, what
the
everybody
sellers.
wants, the hot topic is how are buyer's agents going to be compensated?
And
Are they
then,
gonna be
and
compensated?
then also, I think we'll touch on what it means for sellers.
And what does it mean for sellers?
Right? So
It affects everybody.
It does. And
It really does.
Vic has done this before. And we, obviously we did this several months ago.
I did a little
snippet.
a 2-minute video I did.
And then we did one, I think we did one.
And nobody liked my red jacket. They said that I look like I'm a white guy, but it's all right. I'm wearing a nice dark suit today, so.
Yes.
For all the fans out there.
I'll be wearing the gray, keeping it light. he'll get dark every now and then.
There you go.
But anyway, so let's get into some of the things, and I'm going to be asking you,
Yeah.
because this is a good question for you.
Go for it.
Can sellers offer broker compensation in this lawsuit?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. There's actually a Form 2 that was put out where the seller signs. It's a contract. So it's a second contract. There's a seller's contract now that you're going to sign as a seller with the listing agent. And there's also a second contract that you will sign with the listing agent. However, you're going to sign as to how much compensation you're going to, if you are going to offer compensation.
Right.
That's a separate contract. It's a legally binding contract.
So one of the things that came to light, and I did obviously some digging, that, typically it's not usual for like buyer agents to ask for compensation from the buyer's agents. But there will be a clause for non-exclusive agreements.
Correct.
So meaning that, it doesn't make the seller not have to offer, they opt into offering buyer agent compensation, which I thought was done to exclusive listings.
Right.
But it appears on the MLS.
I'm not a fan of exclusives personally. I think it benefits the agent, but not the seller.
Yeah.
Right. So if I have an exclusive, it benefits me, but without compensating with all the other agents, it's less traction that listing would get because it would be smaller. There would be a smaller pool of buyers.
Right. So
Right,
those people we've been working with for a while, right?
Do I want 2,000 buyers or do I want a handful of buyers? Or more buyers?
So the more buyers, obviously, the better chances you are. getting
More offers,
more
right?
offers,
And with the possibility of a higher
Mhm.
sales price.
So that's the
If that benefits the
general
seller.
consensus. But can sellers offer? And my thing is what's the benefits to like right now? Would you say buyer's agents provide to the seller? Excuse me, while I put my glasses on for a second, so I have to read. What do you think as far as we know that sellers, we deal with this a lot. Sellers are very when you do for sale by owners, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So what happens with for sale by owners is a lot of times they
don't know the process. There are a lot of moving parts. Right?
well, the big thing is that they don't understand the value proposition that's being offered, so that's why they go for sale by owner.
Well, they feel that why should I pay a realtor? I'm going to take some photos and throw it up on the internet, and then the buyers will come and buy my house. It's very simple. Why should I pay an agent to do that? I can do it myself. That's the consensus.
That's the consensus.
Right?
So under this model, what's going to happen as far as the efficiency metric?
I think it's going to be less efficient. We all know when certain entities get involved in the business, it becomes less efficient. Now, the process is going to be different. So for example, we can't advertise, sellers cannot advertise on the multiple listing service any sort of compensation. Hinting at it, disguising it, it cannot be advertised, right? No code words. You cannot advertise.
No code words.
Right?
I thought that was I think that
tricks, basically trying to circumvent
Code
it. You
words.
cannot.
we're talking conspiracy theories here.
No, you cannot. Try to.
Well, that's the nature of the lawsuit, right? The nature of the lawsuit that we conspired.
Right.
So we are actually part of the conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
So that's
So basically, do not use the multiple listing service at all to advertise buyer's agent compensation anywhere in the comments. Just don't do it at all
yeah in the
multiple listing service,
which
right?
is just
So now what happens? Can the seller's agent advertise it in an email? Can they advertise it in a sign? Can they advertise it on a website? Can I place a phone call to a seller's agent and say, hi, by the way, you offering any type of compensation to a buyer's agent?
so under the code term we'll use is like the code. Like I said earlier, maybe we'll start using smoke signals.
There you go.
So
So
we'll try to
basically,
do
do not
is
use the-
so if it's 2%, you'll see 2 puffs of smoke coming from 3 blocks away. Nobody said anything about smoke signals.
There you go.
Oh, it's just a joke. But the big thing is, we have a lively audience down there. It's they're I mean, we're robust. And how you guys doing down there? We can say down there because we do this all the time. Kerry does that on TikTok. We get quite a bit of comments on
The
that.
younger
Yeah,
generation likes.
some people who aren't
TikTok.
necessarily, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. It's not your Gen Z app anymore.
No.
It's not. I know because you send me TikToks all the time. Anyway, so, but the big thing is for real estate people, what I see happening is a great consolidation.
I think there's a misconception. They're saying that you cannot pay buyer's agent at all.
But what I do
And
think
that
is
is not the case.
what I do think is going to happen is the tough part about this is it's going to change the way we do business and the way, and some people will definitely not be able to keep up with that trend. The trend is you got to get that sign up front, whether it's non-exclusive, exclusive.
Well, now you need
it's
a
lot of-
buyer's agency
but some people will refuse
agreement.
to. But
So
there's
here's
gonna
the
be people-
law. This is the law. This is that. Now
But people are going to refuse.
they can refuse, but now if you're a buyer
They
and
can't
you
do it.
refuse to sign,
Now, I want to put this in context before you continue.
Yeah.
So if you refuse to sign, there is no agreement. You can't.
you
In the
cannot show
past,
houses.
you can. You can.
Yes.
Now you can't. You have to have the
Buyer's agency, take a buyer
agency,
out.
Take it out. Even if it has to show that you're being compensated somehow, unless you're like doing it for free. Nobody's, maybe you're doing it for tips.
Well, there's also what is it? It goes by percentage.
So,
I think it goes by
flat
retainer,
fee.
flat fee. There's multiple.
You may see several models develop out of
I
this.
guess it's like a menu. You want the a la carte. You want the all-inclusive, a prefix.
I do think the mainstay is because it's the closest that resembles MLS, because offers the compensation will not be done on MLS, is that you'll get non-exclusive contracts, meaning that you could work for 5 different agents. They're not going to be, so it'll say, basically, if the seller's offering compensation, if they don't, that's really the question. When they come across the one that says no, the seller's not offering compensation, what happens then? You basically don't even bother asking to get paid because you're not. Bottom line is it has to happen. That has to happen almost automatically.
At the listing, at the time of the listing.
And I'm going to tell Kerry to share this to the white page. So the big thing that I'd like to say is it's going to change a lot about the way business moves. And I do think the lack of efficiency.
There is going to be a huge
gonna be a
lack
problem.
of efficiency appointments.
So what it's going to mean is listing agents will have to probably accompany. I'm not saying it's going to be all.
Let me
of
give you a
them.
scenario.
I
Perfect.
just think it's going to shrink down the business quite a bit
Give
because
you,
buyers feel like they're paying enough for the house, and if there is anything up front, and you know we've gotten used to this way of doing business where you get these Zillow leads.
So let's talk about efficiency.
Like Zillow leads.
Yeah.
Just take this one, Zillow leads. They come in and you don't even know the person.
No. Maybe
So
they
you're
don't
going
sign
out
anything.
blind, and you're going to assume that these people are going to sign an agreement. I do hear that there's things that Zillow is trying to put something in place for that, which will allow you to show a single house under that agreement. But if you decide to take them to more than one, it doesn't apply. So it's
More paperwork. More. Instead of having 10 forms now,
and that's
15
going to. I do
forms
think
to
it's
fill,
going to
fill out.
contract. It's going to. There's going to be people who can't manage. That's a lot to manage for a single agent, for a buyer's agent.
But even a seller's agent will to manage.
So,
Let's
both
just say
sides.
a seller has 10 listings. 10 listings. Now, and 10 different people want to see the listings. Each individual wants to see the individual listing that the agent has. So 10 people want to see separate listings. Unless you clone yourself, how are you as a seller going to be at 10 places at the same time? I may be able to serve that one buyer. Hey, you want to go see my listing on ABC Street? Good, let's go. The other 9 listings at that moment for that hour or the amount of time that I'm spending with that buyer, I'm not going to be able to service the other 9. Now, whereas if you have the buyer's agents, at that moment you have 9, 10, 20, 30 other agents
Right.
who can now bring a potential buyer to all those other listings. That's the efficiency of it, right? That's where more people, more eyes on it, more showings, more offers. Even so, I may have an offer from one buyer, right?
Right.
And then ABC agency will have another offer, and XYZ agency will have another offer, and you get into a multiple offer situation from multiple agents with multiple agencies, right? Which in turn it's more
I'm sorry. I'm not a.
more efficient
It's okay.
for the seller, and
So
ultimately,
just so you know, I can see the comments. If
okay, good.
Love
So,
some and
what are they saying?
I don't
They
know.
could say them out loud.
Oh, these are fruity.
Okay, good.
Hi. Wait, I wasn't going back. So that's some guy in a suit.
What's that? What are they saying?
You want carry back?
Oh, that's fine. And that's okay. You know, that's all good.
It's,
You know,
there's a couple of
different fan base. That's all right. It's
Next Friday.
next
next week, okay?
You get Vic this week. Tough.
So I think the efficiency. I'd rather have more eyes on the property, and I was told by sellers have asked me, "Don't you want an exclusive?" And I said, "Yeah, preferably I'll take the exclusive. Benefits me, but does it benefit you? Is that what you want?"
No.
They're like, "Why?" I said, "Would you want more offers? You want more agents showing it? You want a higher sales price?
Do you
Cooperate with
do
other
you think,
agents."
Do you think it's going to lower the cost for sellers?
Absolutely not. So here's the thing. The claims are that because, so if a house is worth $1 million, okay? A house is worth $1 million. I don't wave a magic wand and make the house be worth $1 million. I don't
Wait a
control.
minute. Don't say you don't. You've done some pretty good things.
I've achieved record-breaking sales prices.
Right. And we'll get into that.
I'll get into that. That's marketing. Not pixie dust or magic.
Pixie dust.
But what makes the price of housing go up? There's a low inventory. Okay? There's a bidding war. You have 100 buyers for 5 houses in the neighborhood. They're all putting multiple offers, creating that bidding war and the house sells for above asking price. Has nothing to do with the realtor. I don't control the interest rates. I do not control the price of a home. What do realtors do? We market the subject property to sell it. So by changing these buyer's agent compensation or sell it, it's not going to lower. If the house is worth $1 million, it's worth $1 million. Right? If you want to buy, I like sports cars. I want to buy a Corvette.
The argument, here's what the argument is, what they're saying, and I do, the assessment's right, absolutely, I don't disagree with that assessment at all. I think the thrust of this is to say it's going to lower costs. Now,
How? Tell me how.
well, you see, this is the funny thing.
How is it going to lower costs? Is it going to lower the interest rates?
And that's,
Is it going to lower the value of a property?
because people feel like they just,
Is that going to change the tax
because
assessment?
there's a lot of myth behind the business.
Exactly.
And what I've said before, I'm going to say it here again, the biggest problem with real estate, and if you're in the business, you know this, the biggest problem we deal with in real estate is because the service is free, technically, until it closes.
Correct. We
So
work
on contingency.
Contingency, right.
So because it's on contingency is why people feel. So what happens in contingency situations is contingent, so the person can literally work 4 days straight or
8 months,
or 8
or
months,
a year.
spend a lot of money on the house.
Show them
sell.
150 houses, a buyer, and then they decide to walk in on an open house and put an offer on a home without the agent.
And I've said this before, how do you, so if that's not the way to save money, because that's really why.
Well, before they blame the realtors were the culprits because of the housing, the price of housing. Okay, fine. Let's see what the free market does, what the property tax assessments do. That's the comment that they made. You're laughing at. I want to know.
I'm sorry.
I want to join. At least if it's funny, share with me. I'm getting roasted.
Bro, the only reason why here is.
Read it.
I've seen the comments.
That's all good. Keep them coming. It's fine.
Oh God, help me.
So I lost my train of thought. So now, yeah. So I was saying that that's not going to change. It's not going to change the property tax assessment.
No.
Right? It's not going to change the interest. So the interest rates are interesting. Back in 2020, when the interest rates were 2.75, 2.5, a person could afford, by let's just say a $500,000 home, for half the monthly payment that it will cost them today.
Right.
Right? So that was an affordability factor. So the price of the home did not change, but now if your interest rate went from 2.5 to 6 or 7%, your affordability changed. You cannot buy as much of the house. Your ability to borrow is less because the monthly payment is going to be a lot different. So instead of being a $2,000 a month mortgage, you're looking at it almost $4,000 a month mortgage for the same type of house. For let's just say a $500,000 home.
Right.
Right? So now that person's affordability changed. That has nothing to do with the price of the house or the value. It has to do with the interest rate, which is another factor that goes into real estate. That's the affordability factor.
Carrie will make a guest appearance at the end before she leaves, I promise. I just want to throw that in there. So from all those people who are just waiting.
So my question would be, what would, how?
Carrie, just come here. Just say hello.
Just say hello to the
Please.
fans.
I wasn't expecting that.
That's okay. You always have to be ready.
It's the bottom. Just say hi.
Hi.
She's got to fix her hair
I
before
know,
going
I
on
didn't see
camera.
what I looked like.
All right, you satisfied? Okay. So let's only 10 minutes. They said only 10. We have to laugh. They said there was only 10 minutes left to 5. So she leaves at 5. They know she.
Do you know her schedule?
Oh yeah. Wow. She said, he goes, when's Kelly going to be free? They tell her to let me. So it's kind of funny. So the Facebook crowd, we have a good time with it. So
Yeah.
It's all good. Yes.
There's always some good humor with this stuff.
You have to
So
keep
one of the
us in
things
the
is like, they're like, They're like, they tell me like, oh, she's looking to get out of work already.
Oh, wow.
Stop talking already and let her go. She wants to leave early.
Well, they're looking out for her. I know. They have your best interest. It's good.
They're like, skip out on the boss.
There you go.
Anyway, but it's always entertaining, guys. So I like to keep it light every now and again. So the big thing is like, and I'm gonna keep you in that little square. Does it? And I think you kind of hit something on the head. Do we feel like it's going to lower costs because why?
Do we feel that?
Do we feel it's going to lower costs?
No, absolutely not.
And if it is going to increase, we're going to touch on the one subject is, and we said this before. I'm going to just let me add my piece into this. What the efficiency metric is going to take.
The efficiency metric. There you go. Touch on that.
Two things that are going to happen is it's going to take longer for houses to sell. There's no doubt.
Why?
I think the big thing is that because you're going to lower. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be a portion of this industry that's not going to be able to handle this. Let's call it for what it is. I'm not. I do think there's a certain segment, maybe some newer people who don't have a great support structure, or they just it's a tough market to begin with as it is.
As it is, yeah.
And I think if they're not in the right place, it can make a big difference as to what's going to happen to them. And you said there's just a lot of real estate people in general. There's almost like 4 to 1. And in Staten Island, I think it's 4 agents for every single house that's on the market.
Oh, yes.
So it's like really
It's
high.
where-
And then across the nation, it's like that. It's like very high, listing. Even though there's two sides of the transaction, there's still 4 to 5 people involved. So my thing is, it's like, is it going to matter as far as compensation is concerned? Yes. So I do think there's certain people who have a hard time because the hardest part, and you know this from the listing side, it's like sometimes we have to do the price reduction. And some people have a very strong anxiety about getting things signed.
Absolutely.
And like when they finally get to the point,
There's a
when they have
mistrust.
to explain
No, there's a mistrust.
that you need to
It's a
sell. When you need to sell something and they need to sign it,
Right.
it changes the whole picture.
Well, they feel like, does
and not every
agent
agent's equipped for that. That's why some people choose to be buyer's agents.
Well, the problem is that we live in people don't want to have these difficult conversations, right? I have to have, if I'm working for you as a seller, and there are issues that are concerning, I have to sit down and tell you. It's like a doctor has to tell you the symptoms, right? He's going to tell you what you don't want to hear. Sir, ma'am, you're going to need surgery. We're going to have to, operate on your knee. You're going to need a knee replacement. It's not pleasant, right? But it's a fact. Same thing. As a professional, I have to sit down with the seller and say, hey, the market's not responding to this price point. All the comps are showing that the homes are selling for $30,000 to $40,000 less. We're not getting the amount of showings because we're overpriced.
Right.
I have to have that conversation. Or I could choose option B and sit on my hands, do nothing, let it run its course, pray that maybe it sells or something happens without my intervention.
Right.
And then what happens, the listing expires after 6 months.
But so just keeping a focus on what we're basically saying is the lack of efficiency in the side that's going to be costly is that because it's going to take time to sell, it does become a cost factor that's burdening the seller overall. Even though they feel like they're saving, they're paying.
Time is money, right? You
Time
pay
is
property
money, right.
taxes on it.
Time is money, and the
Homeowners
efficiency.
insurance, all these payments are going into the house month in and
It's
month
going to
out.
slow down. It's going to slow. I do see it slowing down the process of selling because again, if you said like you said earlier, to kind of stay on this a little bit is if you have the person has 10 listings, you're going to have to make appointments for 10 separate agents to show you on a schedule that may or may not work in the framework. So if you have a Tuesday afternoon between 3 and 6 p.m. at night, and that person, let's just say the selling agent's at another listing that he's going to show another 5 buyers to at his own, you're going to have to go on a day.
What do we do as a buyer's agent?
But
I
the
work.
big thing, I just wanted to stick to this, is that if you lose those people, because what's going to happen is you're going to have what I call scheduling conflicts.
Absolutely.
And those scheduling conflicts are going to compound themselves into time lost. And that person may not, it could take 3 extra days, 4 extra days, till the listing agent is able to get around back to that place.
Yeah.
Unless they hire somebody else. And then this is where the efficiency is. They have to hire somebody else to begin to show the properties. You're back into the same situation you think you were trying to escape. Right? You're going to increase the cost. Because that person is going to want to be compensated as well.
Nobody works for free.
And so it's not, I don't see, like in the long run, how like this plays out, because it's not, you're paying for the efficiency, and because the efficiency is built into the model that we are not compensated up front. I would say getting a retainer might be a good thing. Because if the person's serious about what they're trying to accomplish, and they want to pay for that, no? Wouldn't you want to be paid like you want to accomplish a goal?
A retainer? Sure, but I would want to do a lot of research on that person, how competent is.
That's the key.
It's like if I hire an attorney, the attorney wants a retainer, right?
But if you're, right.
And I want the best.
And to me, and to me, the big thing is like, that's why sellers will say, oh, you sold the house in 3 days. So
Yes,
why do you deserve X amount of money?
Because my ability, my infrastructure that I have.
Yes,
why did I sell the
that's
house
true.
in 3 days?
But the big thing is, you're not paid on time.
I'm paid on my ability.
No, you're paid, yes, you're paid on ability. You're not going to get that. But some people say, well, you didn't work enough. That's the problem with people think they're paying too much.
They think, we don't know what happened.
Let me just finish this one thought.
I'm going to counter all your arguments. Go ahead.
But what they're going to think is time, right? They think that
It's
you
not.
didn't spend a lot of time on selling it, so why do you need to make X amount? Because you're being paid based on the results, not the time.
What gets us those results?
Well, right, but you're being, because if you're paying on contingency, you're paying for the result. You're not paying for the time. If you want to pay for the time, you can. But the problem is it's upfront cost.
Well, it's like a guy that you call to install a new kitchen for you. And you have a professional carpenter that can measure everything with precision and install it. And he can do a new kitchen for you with the granite and everything in less than a week. And he's been doing it for 30 years. And he charges you a lot of money for his expertise. Now you hire another guy, maybe cheaper, it might take him a month. Why does it take him a month? Because he is not as skilled. Maybe his tools, he has cheaper tools, not quality tools for cutting stone, right? If you need a certain blade to cut the stone. Things like that. The professional brings the tools, the expertise, and he's able to get it done in a quicker period because of his experience and his ability and his tools and everything else. So time, if I'm a seller and an agent takes 6 months to sell my house, that's 6 months of my time. 6 months of mortgage payment, 6 months of property insurance. If the agent can get my house sold in a week or 2, great. We take it off the market. I don't have to deal with showings anymore. Having strangers walking in and out of my house. It's done. I want it done quick. That's what I want.
There are always people looking to join in. I'm not doing that.
Join in what?
Can I buy a house in Kerry? Sorry.
Absolutely. Children.
You gotta. You chased her out today.
What time is it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's efficient. You missed her. Anyway.
Carrie did a phenomenal job on our marketing and the videos behind the scenes.
Yeah.
She's
does a good
she's probably, you know what, Carrie's one of the reasons that I am successful in this business too, because of the marketing, what she does behind the scenes with the social media, her video tours and all that. She's an integral part of the company. So
let's get into the one sale that happened recently.
My
Which is
favorite. So in
Overlook.
Dungan Hills Colony in Staten Island.
Right.
For those of you that don't know Staten Island or Dungan Hills Colony, it's a beautiful neighborhood in Staten Island on top of a hill with beautiful views of Sandy Hook, the Verrazano Bridge, amazing views. That listing expired several times, right? And we wound up getting $1.625 million right? So it was almost a $2 million home. So
Almost.
pretty pricey. That was
Yeah.
high-end real. That's luxury real estate.
Right.
So we were able to get these results by procuring a buyer. It wasn't our buyer, but the buyer himself saw the video. He happened to live in Boston, right? Is that
Yes.
where he's from?
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't from Staten Island, and he didn't know anything about Staten Island, but he viewed our video. He saw the views, he saw the property, he fell in love with it, and came to see it, and that's how we procured that buyer. But you know, if we were to take a bunch of photos and throw it on the multiple listing service and just sit back and wait for someone to find that home, that's not the type of marketing for $1,000,000+ listings. That type of marketing is good for, a townhome or a different price range.
We still sell
We
townhomes.
market everything the same way, whether it be a
We had the
townhouse.
other townhouse in,
Which one?
a lot of people didn't even realize it was Staten Island. The one in the Greens.
Oh,
Rolling Hill Greens?
Rolling Hill Greens, yes.
I have people literally tell me, when I showed them the video tour,
What do they think it was?
they're like, is that Staten Island?
Right.
I go, yeah, it is Staten Island. And that's,
Because people think of Staten Island as New York City, and it doesn't look like the rest of New York City. It's a very suburban, they call it the borough parks. A lot of greenery, a lot of residential neighborhoods, residential homes, 1 or 2 family homes that are detached. It almost looks like Long Island or New Jersey. It doesn't look like, I grew up in Brooklyn, right? You grew up in townhomes, or those brownstones, fully attached on top of each other.
right.
So when you think of New York City, you think of Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, congested
You're
areas.
thinking of Staten Island, you're thinking big league.
Thinking of Staten Island, you're thinking it's a suburban
Oh, you
city.
think like the houses are big.
Oh, the architecture. I mean, the homes here in Staten Island are tremendous. We have how many square feet is that one that in Tottenville?
8,000.
We have an 8,000 square foot home now for sale. It's massive.
Huge. Very big. But the big thing is like what specifically, when you looked at it's 116 overlook, correct?
106.
Oh,
106
overlook. Okay, so when you look at it from that perspective, it was listed before
Right.
twice, and then you take over the listing, you see what's the problem.
So basically, we had to address concerns with the marketing.
Right.
I looked at, I had to troubleshoot. I said, what happened? He wasn't getting the reach. And we addressed those concerns with the marketing. Also, we have the infrastructure in the company that involves a lot of financial costs to market something like that. So we put a lot of marketing dollars to get that done too.
When we had discussed,
And we have the infrastructure
Yeah.
to do it, right? We have the ability to market luxury homes. We have the ability. We can handle it. We have the marketing ability.
Yeah.
We have the finances to do it. We have the audience for that type of listing, for luxury listings. It's a whole different beast.
So to get into the luxury listings, this is the thing we realize.
We specialize. That's our specialty.
Well, go into YouTube and type in New Jersey luxury stuff, and you're going to see Prodigy Real Estate all over the page. And we do, obviously, through artificial intelligence, we'll call it for what it is. There's no secrets here. From that perspective, we've already advanced things to the point where it's a challenge at this point. We've been at this for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're in the completion phase of almost every Monmouth and Ocean County,
Pretty much every
and then we're moving a little bit more.
every municipality. Yes.
So what we're able to do is, because of the changes in the lawsuit that are coming, we felt like it was more important than ever that now we're able to reach about. We reach all over the world, but we
And in the countries
so
that we're
70% of our user base is national, and 30% is actually international. So the international component, and we've done this before. People have definitely bought internationally, is they don't understand why it's important from the marketing standpoint into the infrastructure standpoint of what we're trying to accomplish here. Is you're trying to get people to recognize places that they would completely overlook if it wasn't for the ability to reach an audience that would give an area additional look to say, well, this is a place I would live and this is a place I wouldn't live. And like a lot of people miss the boat. Like there's so many of these intricate towns. If you go into like even into the like the
Case in
pages,
point.
Nobody knows about it.
Anybody watching right now, Google, if you're not from Staten Island, Google Nicolosi Drive.
Yeah.
Take a look at, and it's going to look, you're not going to believe it's in Staten
Well,
Island.
we just did Ward Hill. Ward Hill is like one of those places.
It looks like Europe. When I drive.
Yeah,
through,
Ward
it
Hill,
looks like-
Emerson Hill.
It's beautiful.
Very.
The architecture is, it's.
And you know, we began
Amazing.
the process of like really being able to harness this global audience into
Well,
like
didn't you sell the house to a gentleman from Egypt?
yeah.
There you go.
That's a strange story though. It's abandoned now.
Well, that's a whole. Well, we sold it. We sold
Yeah,
it. That's a whole other story.
we flew in from he flew in from Egypt.
Yeah.
We met him at the airport.
And how much did you pay on the railroad? How much?
4.3 million.
Million.
Yes.
So international audience.
International audience.
So it wasn't a local
No.
person. So
And that's how
that's
the
how
power.
far our reach.
Well, the biggest question was for him: does New York City offer waterfront property?
Right.
And he realized this was in New York City, and if he would never known that if he didn't see. Not that they say you don't have Google Earth, but Google Earth, just like the Earth itself, you still have to pinpoint where you're looking. And that's not easy to do on a map. Even zooming in, it's like there's so much involved in knowing like where things are, and we were gathering that information now, and now we're able to kind of make a comprehensive overview to make it stand out.
We sold another listing twice, right? On down in Hillsborough, as a matter of fact.
Well, the funny thing, yeah,
Then we sold it twice in the same year.
yeah, we sold
Okay.
Reese, 162 Reese, twice in 1 year. But the other thing is that we're able to sell things that are 50, 60, 65 miles away.
South Brunswick, New Jersey.
South Brunswick, we're going to Tom's River this week.
Tom's River.
Infrastructure
Jackson.
matters. So-
And
we did a little thing on the
we
infrastructure
get
thing. Because
top dollar.
yeah, top dollar.
We
is
broke records on the sales price
multiple
in
times.
multiple states
Municipalities.
and municipalities.
Multiple states. So
New
that shows
York
you
and
how-
New Jersey.
Yeah. And that's really where it is multiple. You have these things that are happening with, we talked about it, audience is key, right?
Well,
Audience.
If nobody
If
knows
you have
that,
advertising, right? If you're advertising, and like this is where we try to differentiate value is our audience, and this is what I saw with agents had a difficult time is, as the broker here, at least for the agents, that our thing is when they get a house to sell, that we consistently work on the infrastructure. So it's like we give them a platform to sell on by creating an infrastructure to make it easier for them and their clients to be served with the media that we
Right.
provide each agent. So the key is that it's like everybody wants to advertise the Super Bowl. I don't know who this is. Sally.
hey Ellie,
Hey!
We're in the middle of a live. You can say hello.
Can I say hello?
absolutely.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Do you
Come
see?
in. You're on the top and the bottom.
Hello.
This is a wild setup. Excuse us for a
Oh,
second.
I'm sorry. I
No.
couldn't stop and say hello.
Oh, hello. How are you?
How
I
you
know.
doing?
So you guys do it live?
Yeah, we're on Facebook down up top, and we're down here
Very
in this little
cool.
contraption down here in
TikTok.
You can open my. All right, I'll say hello in the bar then.
All
I don't
right.
want to interrupt.
Yes, but I'll
No.
touch base with you later.
All right,
Thank you for
sounds
passing.
Allie
Oh my
is
God.
mortgage person.
Ellie
Well,
is-
before you leave,
yeah,
wait.
before you leave, yes.
What are so the 10-year Treasury's down today?
Oh yeah, give us a little
A lot.
bit of.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Ellie's
for-
our-
Sure is.
mortgage expert here, so what are the rates right now?
You can go scoot in.
Yes.
I don't think I have another chair.
Okay.
What are the, because you're the expert, what are we at right now? I'm curious myself.
I'm gonna say mid-6.
That's
Mid-six.
awesome.
Yeah, mid-6 is where.
So that's where we're seeing an uptick in activity because are you seeing an uptick in activity now because of the lower?
Yeah, it's been pretty busy, I'm gonna say.
So it's better.
I mean, as
So-
we're getting closer to August now, obviously people are going away and we're seeing.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
because one of the things that came up, I think MSNBC did a report that said, well, home sales, in June dropped significantly. Yeah, she's like, oh really? Yeah,
do you know?
it was like
Pretty-
we just
I
did the
had a pretty
report.
good
We did the yeah. Well, that's good because it dropped 20% in New Jersey. So the home sales dropped off 20% year over year.
Wow, in Jersey,
New Jersey.
Jersey still had, Jersey
And it was
has
not-
like bidding wars.
Still.
Yeah, still, but you know what? It's kind of
Yeah.
fun. There's select markets though that happens in. So like we look at our
So you're
version of
saying
Jersey
like
is like.
overall, right?
But
I see.
overall, so the actual the inventory starting to increase a little bit. The inventory year over year was like maybe about 8% increase, and the interesting thing was one of the stock things. I just wanted to know from your perspective, have you seen like, and then mortgage applications for 2 weeks in a row have dropped.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like the last like week or so, I'm definitely seeing like a little bit of a difference as far as the activity with the phone ringing, because I had pretty busy June. I did have a pretty busy June and
Good.
early July.
Good.
Yeah. So, but I feel like in the last like week or so, I'm definitely seeing like
A slowdown.
a slowdown for sure. Definitely. I think that we might see like
You've been doing this for how long?
23 years.
23 years.
Yeah.
So seasonally speaking, right? We do a seasonal peaks and valleys. What is August typically for you? Is it-
August is usually like a slow month. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
And then
we
when do you feel the next?
people start like now. They obviously in August they go a lot of them go on vacations. They close businesses, go on vacations, or moms are getting their kids ready to school's back in September. So August is typically like
A slower month.
a slower month. I feel.
Okay. That's
Mhm.
well, and then do you see a spurt coming into the fall?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that September, October, we should see things then pick up again.
Because you know that the Fed is likely to cut rates.
Yes, so we should have one in September, and they say one in December.
Nice.
We're supposed to see two. I mean, who
Come
knows?
from a real estate
Listen,
people.
Who knows?
Nice.
Right? Who knows? I mean, at this point,
Let those bidding wars begin again.
At this point, I thought that we probably would have seen the rates by now be a little bit lower than where, but I mean, there's.
We're in the right direction at
We
least.
should have,
So
yeah, we should
I'll
have
take the 6.5
two
for
rate cuts
now.
by-
6.5 is definitely.
In 2024, I'm thinking.
The funny thing is that 6.5 rates is pretty minor.
You know, my opinion, I feel like if they would just go somewhere and just give us some stability, so the people could just, whether it's 6%, it's just it's all over the place, and I think that's the problem. We could be at 6.5 1 week, and then all
It
of a sudden,
fluctuates,
and
yeah.
all of a sudden we're at 7.25. You know what I
Do
mean?
you find,
Like, there's
but
no stability.
let me
I
ask you,
think
because
that's the worst part.
it's funny because we have real estate side, we have mortgage side here. One of the things that I found in this market is how week to week the shifts are so
Shifts.
dramatic.
They're dramatic.
Like 1 week is extremely busy,
Yes,
and then
I agree.
you did it 23 years. It's about 18 years for me. It's 18 years, and then Vic is about what 9?
6.
6. Okay, so
Yeah, the
we
shifts
experienced
are
it.
definitely-
So
yeah.
I just see that what's happening now is it's like you'll have this busy spurt for 2 weeks,
Agreed.
and then
It
all of a
comes in
sudden
Yes.
it's like crickets, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, what happened?
100%. It comes in spurts. It's like you said, it's like a week that like my phone's ringing.
We should get like the flag,
It's
put it up
so
and say,
true. And
this
then-
is the week to start bidding, because there's no activity.
No, for
That's the
real.
time to go
And
out.
I feel like as you're talking out there too, it's like you hear the same exact thing. It's like everybody it's like all of a sudden I have this spurt where like my phone's going crazy, and you hear it like everybody's like all of a sudden busy, and then all of a sudden it just stops.
It's like, but I never, it's like this we've done some correlations that,
With Bitcoin?
yes!
I knew you were going to say that.
Really?
And there are factors. So when the market was when Bitcoin went up to 70,
Oh my God!
In
everybody
March,
was flying home.
The market
Yes.
was busy.
Yes.
the market was through the roof.
They must be cashing in their crypto.
No, I believe what that is a hint
I
at
think what
is
people-
consumer sentiment.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
a consumer sentiment
Yeah.
index, meaning it's like consumers are feeling
The
confident.
confidence, yes.
True.
I
So
agree.
it goes up to the 70s, and that week,
Oh my
when it was
God,
in the
yes.
70s, we were flying around. It was like,
Right.
oh, what's going on? And we've done this
Wow.
comparison to like the volatility of Bitcoin to
The fear greed factor.
I
yeah,
totally- I
and it's like
totally see
we
that.
saw the activity
Yes.
fluctuate. Now, and like you said, it's like begin to slow down a little bit, and so is the price. The price of Bitcoin went down to 50s last week,
Yeah.
and now it's starting to
And
creep
now
up
it's
again.
starting, Yep. Now it's starting
And
up.
the question really becomes is
Wow.
and I think because and I'm going to tell you why I
And
think
like
that
you
is.
said, I think it has to do with, like you said, the people, like how they feel.
Feeling.
Yes,
It's
their
sentiment.
feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's more of a consumer-based asset class, meaning that it's more like it's not institutional, so it bases itself on emotion.
Right.
It's more of an
Emotion.
emotional.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a cryptocurrency.
Absolutely.
If you don't know about it, it's like an
I can see
emotional,
that.
like kind of homes are overvalued. I can't wait for the home market to crash.
Who's that?
This is TikTok, so
Oh, is it?
it's a guy. I'm telling you now, it's not. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either.
You know why?
I
I'm
definitely
gonna-
think that the buyers that are waiting on the sidelines for rates to come down is like
gonna
I
be the
don't think
floodgates.
I'm gonna
it's a
say-
good idea
you know
at
what?
all. I don't.
I'm going
think
to tell
it's a
you
good
why
idea.
it doesn't happen because they figured out how to stop it.
I just don't think it's a good idea.
But there
because
was never quantitative
at the end of the
easing.
day,
So at
they-
the end of the day, if mortgages started going, before they allowed it to really crash anywhere, I think now there's a lot more stop gaps in the system. Even if it was to go, things.
Well, I was reading some stats that they say 2026, there's not going to be that much construction of homes. There's going to be a shortage of homes. They're not constructing. There's a lot more people.
There's a slowdown.
The population increase. Yeah, they're not gonna build as many homes.
Let me just say this. It says greed consumes your industry. This is somebody good. But it's a funny thing is that
Greed.
we don't make the industry what it is.
I don't know,
Consumers
right?
do.
They-
That's
it's kind of
At the end of the day, you have a choice.
Right.
They blame the
And if you
realtors.
feel it's that way, right, you won't.
I don't control the
And-
prices of mortgages. Neither does
It's
Ellie.
Right, yeah, right.
We don't control the prices of homes. That's a free market. We have nothing to do with, and we can. Oh, you realtors are greedy, and you guys. Yeah, we're not going to.
To be honest with you, you know what the problem is, and it's a good look. I'm not gonna. Some people have a real concern, but the bottom line is I don't want to keep you too long.
No, no bother. Are you kidding?
So the thing about it is that really this coincides with. It's not really the cost of housing that's going up; it's the value of what you have in your pocket
Well,
going
that's
down.
inflation.
So I want to really emphasize that because what's really happened is it's just like everything else, right? If your food prices go up 30%, housing is going to go up 30%. So it's like it's all
The value of the dollar just going.
You just need more dollars
right.
to buy
It's
the
just
same product.
right, and that's with any asset class is that's the unfortunate part about it. And you can say it's greed, it's all these things. Its bottom line is that you can't create value out of nothing, and I think that's where I think. And I do think the interest rates had to come down a little bit, come up a bit to get. I think we're at a critical level now because we're experiencing, for the first time in a while, I want to get to, but we're starting to see a little distress sales starting to come up a little bit more.
Right.
We're dealing with more.
In the high end
Really?
stuff.
Yeah, we're starting to see the cracks. There's some cracks in
Right.
that market. And, there are people who are struggling out there, and it's becoming a little bit more evident
Right,
now.
right.
But I do think that anybody who's waiting for the crash, folks,
Oh my
after the
God.
last one, they learned from the last mistake, and they're like.
That's a big mistake.
But I do think
You
even
can
if
always refinance if they go down, and obviously save a significant
Well,
amount of
what they
money if
did
they go down.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if these rates go down, it is going to be
Oh, feeding frenzy.
oh my, it's just. It's
there's a
just
lot of
gonna
people
be
waiting on the
crazy.
sideline.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
But that's, I think that's going to be the thing moving forward, and that's where I said, is there going to be inflation? Is there going to be inflation? There's no really, I don't believe so, and there's no really hedge against inflation anymore.
Gold.
It's like either it's like the inflationary price. It's like I do feel that every time like the rate, like when in March, even when the rates, they didn't cut the rates and confidence boosted up, you saw the amount he was doing. I don't know how many you had beat out, right? It was like 15 houses or 14. You saw 14 houses, they put bids on 5, and they were coming $100,000 over list.
We're going to beat up.
And then, consequently, you go 2 weeks past there, stops.
It stopped.
And then it's like, oh, that's where the market is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But, you know, that's the program for tonight. So, hopefully you found it interesting. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for
And you,
having me.
a surprise.
If anybody needs a mortgage, give me a call.
Yes, Ellie from U.S. Mortgage.
You guys, it was great
Well,
seeing you.
all
You
right,
continue.
take care.
All right, bye.
Enjoy your Friday.
Talk to you soon.
All right, guys. So there you have it. We're going to be experiencing a challenging time for the industry, and I think that hopefully with some insights, and you got to scoot on over. Ellie bounced in here to say hello. She probably says, everybody tries to get on the app. No, I'm only kidding. But what we're trying to do is basically get into.
I like to educate the consumer. Ask me tough questions. I love clients that ask me tons of questions about the market, marketing, home sales, inspections, every aspect of real estate. I love real estate. I love talking about it. You can always sit down with me. There's no obligation. I don't run a hard sell list with me. If you have questions, I love educating. To me, my best clients are educated.
Oh,
consumers.
so here's one. You
Yes.
offer services for New York. We're in both states, sir.
I offer services all
Both
New York
New
and
York
New
and
Jersey.
New Jersey. So we're one of the things. Free market BlackRock owns all the houses. These are 2 questions.
That's an interesting.
But do you offer services in New York, and how's the market in New Jersey? The market in New Jersey, we did a report. I think
I like these questions. You know why?
So in New Jersey, the market was it was up about 6% year over year.
It was super high in some areas.
6 to 8%.
Yes.
20% drop though in the total amount of home sales, which was it was probably one of the most sharpest declines that I've seen in the last 3 years. So it did turn quite south on there, and then I think it was like maybe 6% month over month. So year over year is 20%. Month over month it was 6% down in the volume of sales, but it was up value wise by almost 6.5%, 6.5 to 8%. So that's where things stand in
For the
New Jersey.
people there, that just a consultation with us is a cup of coffee.
We
Yeah,
study
that's
this
all it
stuff.
is.
You can tell we
So
study
any
this.
questions?
I know this off the top of my head, that's how much I read these reports. And the other question is how can housing be a free market if BlackRock owns it? You know, I agree with that assessment. That's one of the things I do agree with. There needs to be some type of. I'm not a big the corporatization of buying up residential housing for the purposes.
People need homes to
Publicly
live in.
traded,
Yeah.
publicly traded companies should not be, and I understand the purpose of publicly traded.
Right.
And I think, you know, we all want a free market system, and that's the goal here. But when it comes to residential real estate
Right.
and publicly traded, I think you have to be publicly responsible. And I don't think that BlackRock, well, it's not a testament against the company, because, I mean, they're doing what the law allows, obviously. Ethically, I do think that, no, I don't believe any publicly traded company should be involved with the accumulation of money from public sources to source housing that was meant for the public to consume for the purposes of making not necessarily a profit. We're not against profit making, but I don't think if it's, and I hate to say this, it's not earned money. Wall Street money is not earned money. It's borrowed money against stockholders who invest in a share. And if you could pull money up like that, yes, you're going to have, verify to continue. We got thrown out. We said the word BlackRock. So that's fine. Interesting. Yes. Verify to continue. Let's see. Let's see if that works.
Back on.
Sorry. So do you do commercial real estate too? Yeah, we do commercial real
We
estate.
do all aspects of real estate. Again, if you're in the New York area, New York, New Jersey area, you want to have a consultation, it's absolutely just have a cup of coffee, no pressure, no hassles. I will answer all the questions. Anthony will answer all the questions. He's a broker of the company.
Yes. See, it's such a challenge. This is a strange
I
time.
refer to him as a Jedi Master of real estate.
Oh,
And,
no. Okay, that's a code word. Anyway, but the big thing is you should check out, if you want to see how like we kind of, I mean, our YouTube channel is absolutely on fire right now.
it's blowing up. I'm like,
Yeah,
you know, it's tracking me.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
watching.
the
I
channel,
watch YouTube, and in the evenings I'm looking at news and whatnot, and all the videos are coming up.
Yeah.
I'm like,
This
yeah, that's
video-
our listing.
But can JD?
What's that?
No, I'm not reading that.
That one, yeah, nothing. Look, I'll answer any real estate questions, any other stuff. It's not the forum, right? I'm just gonna put it, you know.
You get these comments.
Yeah, you can make all the comments you want, but
But I
anything
think
other
it's
real
funny.
estate, I will not. You know.
It's
Listen, it's freedom
some
of
of them,
speech.
some of them, yeah, some of the, I mean, it's just, it's entertaining to say the least.
Absolutely. Look, I have a sense of humor, and you know.
They said something, when I shut this off. But let's say good night to the Facebook audience, and I'll keep this on for a little bit more so we can deal with some of these questions.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the audience.
They can't. So we'll deal with this audience here
Deal
now.
with this
We'll
audience.
field some
So
questions.
guys, have a great night. We'll,